Hello everyone, my name is Olivia, and today I wanted to do a get cozy with me type of video, which someone actually recommended that I do over on Instagram. So basically, I am going to complete my makeup routine, and while I do that, I'm going to be talking about a couple of exciting things that have happened to me recently, as well as a reading update, because I have not done that one in a while. So sit back, relax, grab some snacks while I finish my makeup routine, talk to you, and we just get cozy and get ready for a day of reading, because right now it is snowing so much outside and it's so exciting and it brings me so much joy, and it's just like the perfect day to just get cozy, make a cup of coffee, and just enjoy your time stuck inside. So I already completed my eye look because I'm not able to do it while holding a mirror here, and I don't want to get like stage fright. So I did it off camera because I feel like that's the most difficult part of my makeup routine, is getting like the eyeliner right and all that jazz, and I don't want anyone to judge me in like how I put it on, so I skipped that part of the routine. I'm going to do the rest of my very simple makeup routine here while I talk to you all about a couple of things that are really exciting. So I'm going to fill in some of my eyebrows. My eyebrows are like pretty full already, but I just kind of fill in like the little parts that can use like some fullness. I am using the Lancome Le Crayon Kohl. This is a sample that my aunt gave me and it just does not run out. So I feel like I'm never going to have to buy an eyebrow pencil because I feel like this will never run out. And this is in the color of Black Coffee. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I was able to curate the NOVLBox for February. Novel is a YA imprint, so every single month they have a really cool box that they either have YA authors curate or they have book bloggers curate like me. So for the past year, we have been working on my box that I was able to curate, and it is just such a dream come true for them to approach me to do this opportunity and to be able to curate a box full of some of my favorite things as well as a lot of diverse reads. It was just such a wonderful opportunity, and I'm still in awe that I was able to do that. But it was just announced today, February 1st, that I am curating the February novel box, and it is so amazing. And it's been a year in the making because they approached me in 2020 in March to curate their March box. And we all know what happened there in March, so it was delayed for a year because of just different issues, but it's finally out in the world, and now people have the opportunity to enter to win this box because you're not able to buy it. It's only through a contest, so you enter the giveaway and a lucky winner will be able to win that box. Now I'm taking off my glasses for this portion, so if I look into the camera and I look like I'm not all there, it's because I literally can't see what I'm looking at. So that's fun. I've been able to work with Novel before, and I went to visit their office in one of the book expos, I think 2019, and we were able to curate our own box to take home, and that was such a cool opportunity. So when they contacted me to tell me that they want me to curate their February box for people to win, I was like, oh my god, like, I can't believe they even remembered me. I can't believe they think that I'm worthy of being able to curate a box. I'm forever grateful for Novel for even thinking of me for this opportunity, and it was just amazing. So I'm not gonna go too much into what I put into the box because that will be in the unboxing video if you wanted to see that. But that was just something that I was always looking forward to because it kept on getting delayed and kept on getting delayed, and I was just wondering when it was finally going to happen. And I'm so glad that it's out in February and people are getting excited about it, and just getting the feedback on like the announcement was just really cool. Now I'm going to put on blush, and this is another sample from Sephora, and it is the Milk Makeup. It is the lip and cheek like balm that you put on. I've never used it for my lips, but I do like it for my cheeks because I feel like blush in powder form just doesn't work well for me, so I really like the opportunity to put it on like a balm and I just kind of rub it into my cheeks. The next thing that I want to tell you about is the fact that I launched my Patreon. So I have been pondering the idea of starting a Patreon for a while now because I love the way that other people run their Patreons, and I just love the opportunity to create exclusive content for people who are really open to supporting certain creators and just create a very safe community and a very warm community full of people who are like-minded and they really want to support your work. And I just thought that Patreon was the perfect type of platform for a creator. I wanted to create one, but I always thought to myself that like I didn't have like cool enough ideas to do it, or nobody would want to sign up. And I just thought to myself like there was so much uncertainty in 2020 and there's so much uncertainty in 2021, and you just never know what's going to happen. So rather than waiting for the perfect opportunity to go after a project or go after a goal of yours, just go for it, because you don't know what life is going to throw at you. So you might as well just put yourself out there and stop doubting yourself. And it might not work out, it might be a flop, but you put yourself out there. So at the end of the day, you know that you tried. So that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I should just do it. I should just plan it, and if nobody signs up, that's completely fine. If only like 5 people sign up, that's amazing. But I wanted to have the opportunity to create a community and create exclusive content and just kind of put myself out there the way that other people do, because I do have some really cool ideas and I do want to be able to have an exclusive community where people are financially supporting me, and I think that Patreon does that really well. So I created a Patreon and there are currently 3 tiers, and basically you get exclusive updates from me on Patreon if I am looking to film a certain type of video and I need some ideas or I need some input. I will tell my Patreons all about the video idea, I'll create polls, I will give them updates, and that will all be exclusive to Patreon. As well as that, you also get behind the scenes looks into me creating my videos and me creating my Bookstagram posts. And I will also create a monthly post on Patreon where we discuss a certain topic. So if you want me to discuss the behind the scenes of being a book blogger, I can create an entire post about that. If you want me to talk about some movies that I highly recommend, I can create a post about that. It's all up to my Patreon to kind of go into depth more than I would on YouTube or on Instagram. It's a much more in-depth look into my feelings, my thoughts, my passions, and it all depends on what you want me to talk about, because you have the choice to help curate the content that I create on this platform. I'm very, very excited to create this Patreon. I'm very excited to create content for it, and if you want to be able to sign up to support me or to get exclusive content from me, it will be linked in my bio, and I'm just very passionate about it, and I'm very excited to kind of delve into this new world that so many people have created communities in, and I want to be able to do that as well, to get to know you better and for people to have the opportunity to get to know me better as well. So now to complete my look, I'm going to be putting on my Huda Beauty lipstick, which I absolutely love. So not only was my novel box announced on February 1st, but I also announced that Patreon as well, and I'm just so excited and so scared because I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if anyone's going to join, and if people do join, that's amazing and scary, but I'm just tired of just overthinking ideas and goals and kind of instilling a fear into myself before I even go for it. I want to just go for these goals and go for these dreams, and one of them was a Patreon. I just thought to myself, there's no perfect time to launch it, so why not just go for it? Why not just put yourself out there and see what happens and just see what the universe has to offer you. Now that I finished my makeup, I'm just going to finish my coffee while I talk to you about my reading. So my reading has been very slow for 2021 so far, and I don't really mind that. I always used to think about the numbers and the goals and the fact that I always have to be reading something to create content on YouTube, which is very much a part of Booktube. I feel like we all have this idea where you always have to be reading something new in order to create fresh content on this type of community. But after doing years and years of rushing to read to have something new to talk about, I kind of got tired of it. And I just wanted to take my time with reading, and I just wanted to savor the stories that I was picking up. And I also wanted to read for my own pleasure and not for anyone else, because I feel like in 2020 I was reading for other people. I was reading because other people were hounding me to read certain books, and I just felt the need to please them. But now I kind of don't care anymore, and I just want to read to please myself, because at the end of the day, I'm reading for me and you're not over my shoulder, so I have to read the things that I enjoy. And I think that contributed to why I had such a bad reading year in 2020, because I was reading for other people. I was reading for the hype, and I was rushing to read to create new content here. But now I'm thinking I should just read at my own pace. I should just read whatever I want to read, and if it is something that's not popular and something that's not the usual for Booktube, which is primarily centered around YA, that's completely fine, because I have my own reading taste and it's very eclectic and very random, and if that doesn't please a lot of people, that's totally fine, but I feel like the right audience will eventually reach me. While I'm still enjoying YA and while I'm still reading some YA, I'm very much delving into adult fiction as well as nonfiction, and I know that's not that popular on Booktube, and that really got me down for a while, but I'm just thinking I have to read for myself. I can't read for other people. I can't read to please other people. So for 2021, I just kind of had like a long talk with myself internally, and I was like, you just cannot be on this track where you're trying to read as much as possible, where you're trying to finish books as quickly as possible, because it kind of takes the fun out of reading. You should just read for the enjoyment of it all. So normally in other years, I would finish 13 books in January, 14 books in January, but it is now February and I have only finished 6 books, I think. That is completely fine. Were they all amazing? No. But that's completely fine, because I am reading at my own pace, and my pace has changed since I was a teenager. My attention span is not as good, and there are other things that I'm interested in that takes my time, like sewing a skirt, or playing my kalimba, or watching movies and watching TV. Those are all other interests that consume my time as well, and usually when I would do those interests, I would always think I could be reading, I could be listening to an audiobook, I should be reading, I should be doing something that can help my Booktube channel. And while that thought still enters my mind sometimes, I'm also just like, I don't care anymore. I don't care about being the fastest reader or reading 100 books every year or reading popular books that I know would get me views if I were to talk about them in a video. Now I just want to read what I want to read, which is primarily all the books that are on my TBR, which I made a whole entire video about to kind of reignite my excitement for it. I just want to take my time with reading, because that's the whole point of reading. You're supposed to do it to escape into a new world or learn something new and just kind of take your time with it. And there's nothing wrong with reading fast. I know so many people who read like 200 books a year, and that's just because they read faster than me and they have a better attention span than me, and they just know how to read quickly, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine to also read popular books. I'm not trying to be like, oh my god, I'm so different. I'm just talking about the issues that I had with my own reading and how I wanted to change it and kind of refresh my excitement for this hobby, because at the end of the day, it is a hobby, and I feel like the pressure that we put onto ourselves to read quickly, to read popularly, to just read as much as possible kind of burns you out after a while. So just do whatever you want to do. If that's reading 200 books a year, that's totally fine. If it's reading all the popular books in the world, that's totally fine. But also remember that you should be reading for you. You should be reading the books that excite you. You shouldn't be reading just because you feel like you have to read that book to be in the know. And you don't have to read like 200 books to be considered a real reader. If you read 1 book a year, you're a reader. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm not going to be reading as many books as I would in another year, and I wish I could, but my attention span just isn't there. And I also just want to try new hobbies. I want to sew more often. I want to play my kalimba. I want to watch movies and shows and make videos about that as well on this channel. Even though I know it doesn't do as well as my book videos, I'm still passionate about it, and I still want to make videos about that as well, because I have other interests interests other than books, and I wish people would realize that, because I feel like Booktube is just so limiting sometimes, and I just want to branch out and make different content about different interests that I have, and I think that's very tough on Booktube. I think it's tough to branch out. I think it's tough to incorporate different interests into your channel, which is completely fine because you're obviously here for books, but people do have other interests, and I think that that should be taken into account, and people should be allowed to branch out and try new things on their channel. But I'm just kind of sharing my feelings about the fact that I'm not reading as quickly and the fact that I'm taking my time with the books that I'm reading, and I feel like that makes it much more enjoyable, and I don't feel the pressure to read 100 books this year, because last year I didn't feel the pressure at all. I didn't have a Goodreads goal, but at the end of the year I was close to 100 books and I felt that pressure to want to hit that goal. For what reason? For what reason? It doesn't affect me in the future. It doesn't affect me at all. Why was I so compelled to hit 100 books that year? I don't know. I feel like it's an internalized competitiveness with myself, but I feel like it's also a competitiveness within the community. Like, it's like a competitiveness that we've all internalized in this community, so I guess this is just my reminder to tell you that you can read at your own pace. You can read whatever you want to read. And if it's not as popular as like New York Times bestselling books, that's completely fine. You don't even have to read new releases. You can be reading backlist books only. Read however you want to read. Nobody can dictate how you do this hobby. And that goes for so many other hobbies as well. I feel like after a while, once you join a community within a specific hobby, you kind of fall into the status quo and you feel like you have to perform a certain way in order to feel accepted. And I want to break out of that. I want to break out of that. I hope that if you're feeling the same way as I did in 2020, where you felt like you were reading for others and you were forcing yourself to read as quickly as possible, I hope you are able to break out of that, because that's what I'm doing right now, and I think it's so much more enjoyable. So I hope you enjoyed this Get Cozy with me. Now I'm going to finish my cup of coffee and get to reading, because the snow is still coming down and it is just so beautiful and cozy, and I just want to curl up with the rest of my coffee that is slowly getting cold and read more of Mindhunter, which I am currently rereading and I'm really enjoying, and I'm almost done with it. Let me know what you think about Patreon. Let me know what you think about reading goals and reading habits and how yours have changed throughout the years, and like whether you feel this competitive drive that you want to break out of, because I highly encourage that you do, and I highly encourage that you just read for the fun of it and you read what you want to read. So be sure to follow me on Instagram if you want to see content that is not available on here, because I post a lot on there every single day in my stories. Be sure to subscribe if you have not done so already, and I will see you soon in another video.